Hey folks, I'm your host BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now we want to get into Jim Jordan. Tell them how they can contact the show right there on the screen. Check it out, all the social media ways, email, telephone number. I want to get into Jim Jordan's interview. I got to jump into this. You're not hearing it anywhere, and we do want to play it today. I'm going to try to play the whole thing, not at once, Josh. Just remember where we're at when we come back. So let's start there. Jim Jordan on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd doesn't want to go the direction Jim Jordan wants to go. Obvious, right? So let's go with that, Josh.
30 minutes of an opening statement where you trash the President of the United States of America.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio joins me now. Congressman Jordan, welcome to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you.
Why do you think President Trump hired somebody like Michael Cohen as this close confidant for a decade?
Mr. Cohen said it was some real estate deal 10, 12 years ago. Why he hired him, I don't know. What I do know is what I said at the hearing, and that is Michael Cohen is going to prison in 2 months for 4 distinct federal crimes, one of which is lying to Congress, and yet the Democrats made him their star witness. Their first announced witness of the 116th Congress is a guy who was going to prison for lying to Congress, and guess what? He came in last Wednesday and did what? Lied to Congress. 6 different times. That's why we sent a letter.
The President of the United States, the lead attorney for him, and essentially unofficial political advisor for a decade, is this person you just described. You just described. Well, we could
even though he took credit for launching the Trump campaign single-handedly.
Does it bother you that Donald Trump surrounded him, it kept this man as a confidant for everything you've described him as? Why did he keep him as a confidant?
You'd have to ask.
Does that bother you?
Not really.
Doesn't.
Why? Just doesn't. What I know is what the president's done is 2 years as president of the United States. The Democrats never want to talk about it. The press never seems to want to talk about this. Think about the 2 years under President Trump's leadership. Taxes reduced, regulations reduced, economy growing at an unbelievable rate, lowest unemployment in 50 years. Gorsuch and Kavanaugh on the court. We're out of the Iran deal. Embassies in Jerusalem. Hostages home from North Korea. And oh, by the way, there's a new NAFTA agreement coming. Just to name a few things. So that's what I tend to focus on is the amazing record we've seen under the leadership of President Trump. And you guys want to talk about a lawyer that worked for him for 10 years that came in and told all kinds of lies, 6 lies which he said on the witness stand just last Wednesday.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe Michael Cohen when he said there was no collusion with Russia?
I believe a few things Michael Cohen said. Like he said in the hearing, my name is Michael Dean Cohen. I believe that. There's probably a few other things that we can prove. He said,
do you believe he's never been to Prague?
He said that, and that's something you can verify. You can look at passports, you can look at travel, so that undermines this whole dossier, which, remember, was the basis for this whole crazy investigation to begin with. So
that's not. I mean, that isn't the facts.
It's a big fact.
It is something that
we've had this debate.
No,
before.
I understand. It's something that you believe, but it has not been proven.
No, it's the lead thing they took to the FISA court to get the warrant to go spy on the Trump campaign. And oh, by the way, it's paid for by the Clinton campaign.
It still never was even proven when you got these papers released to the public. You found out that that wasn't the truth.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And they didn't tell the court that the Clinton campaign paid. Never forget what happened there. The Clinton campaign paid the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired a foreigner. And what did that foreigner do? Talk to a couple Russians.
You left out the Republican donor.
Put this dossier together that our FBI used to go get the warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. Let me ask you,
why do you not want this investigation concluded by Robert Mueller?
I want it concluded. I want it over with. But there's no.
But you continue to question it and interfere with it. So how is it ever going to end if you question it and interfere with it?
I'm not questioning interfere with it. It's going to be public. The president said he wants it to continue. He's allowed it to continue. It's going to continue. At some point, there'll be some investigation, and then the Attorney General, Bill Barr, will decide, will follow the law and release what he wants to release, or maybe release the whole thing. That's going to happen. We all know that.
You want it all completely released? Donald Trump Jr. does.
I'm open to whatever the Attorney General decides. He should follow the law. He should follow the regulations. And if they release it all, I tend to think we should err on the side of transparency. I've been for that all along. I want the FISA applications released. I want the 302s from Bruce Orr. I want all that information released so we can get to the bottom of it and the American people can know exactly what happened when they launched this thing.
Do you believe the Russians interfered with the 2016 election?
Everyone said that they thought they were trying to impact the election.
Do you believe it?
The question Mueller is...
Do you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what the intelligence community has told us, but there is zero
Do you believe
evidence.
they did it to try to help Donald Trump win?
Who knows why they did it, but there is zero evidence.
You think that is possible? It sounds like you believe it's possible that Russians, for their own foreign policy reasons, wanted Trump, not Clinton.
Why would I don't know. I mean, they can do whatever they're trying to do. Who knows what their motives were? What I know is there's not one bit of evidence to show any type of coordination, collusion, conspiracy whatsoever between the Trump campaign and Russia to impact the election. But there is all kinds of evidence to show that the Clinton campaign worked with Russians to impact the elections via that whole thing I just described, where they hired the Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion, who hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who communicated with Russians and put together the fake dossier.
Why do you think that Donald Trump hired
Now, I want to make sure we come back right there. Man, I wanted to stop just to make sure, number one, I could look at the camera and say, I love that guy, man. I just, every time Jim Jordan, I mean, that guy's just a bulldog. He goes after it. Chuck Todd can't take it. Now, we keep hearing the deep state media everywhere. They say Michael Flynn, Papadopoulos. They keep saying all these little non-effective, no-name people that have been indicted, lied, whatever, about nothing. Hey, you came in here, gave testimony on Monday. We had you back on Wednesday. We went and matched up the tape. Testimony's not exactly the same. Or you did a little business over in a foreign country and you didn't file the proper paperwork. We got a couple things that we may indict you. Nothing connecting the President of the United States. Nothing. But on the other side, there's all these dots that connect. I'd like to see these 302s, 302 reports. So I want to go back. We're still on Jim Jordan. And I want to go right there, Josh. Let's hit it right here, because this is where it gets a little confrontational between Chuck Todd and Jim Jordan. Take us back.
The fake dossier.
Why do you think that Donald Trump hired somebody like Paul Manafort with ties to Russian mobsters? Why do you think that Paul Manafort decided to work for free for the Trump campaign?
I have no idea. Does
any of that bother you?
But you got to remember, they were doing
ties
this
with the Russian government. I'm just asking,
they were doing this.
Why is does none of that deserve scrutiny?
And it's getting all kinds of scrutiny, for goodness sake. Mr. Manafort's been indicted, so it's getting all kinds of scrutiny.
No, but do you believe it deserves scrutiny?
Well, that's what the special counsel is doing. That's his call, not my call. So yeah, if they're looking at all that, that's fine. But that's not what this Wednesday was about. This was a guy coming in who has zero credibility and who has lied and is going to prison for lying. One of those lies, of course, was lying to Congress previously. And guess what he did? He came in front of Congress and told at least 6 different lies.
You are very concerned about a lot of the lying. Does it bother you that Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos, Michael Flynn, Michael Cohen, all these people around the president, has all been convicted or pled guilty to
what bothers me most?
To either investigators or Congress.
There's a
lot of liars around the president.
Here's
Why?
what bothers me most. Jim Comey, director of the FBI, fired. Andy McCabe, deputy director,
fired. So you're upset
fired.
that he was fired?
No, listen, lied 3 times under oath. Andy McCabe is under investigation. Jim Baker, chief counsel at the FBI, demoted, then left, under investigation by the Justice Department. Peter Strzok, deputy head of counterintelligence, demoted, then fired. Lisa Page, FBI counsel, demoted, then fired. 2 of those people kicked off the Mueller team.
Why does the president surround himself with people who can't tell the truth? You're not answering my question about why does the president surround himself with people who can't tell the truth to law enforcement or Congress?
When have you ever seen an agency where the top 5 people, who, oh, by the way, Chuck, ran the Clinton investigation, launched and ran the Russian investigation, have either been fired, demoted, or left the FBI? The top people.
Again, you haven't answered the question I asked. Why does the president have surrounded himself with people who cannot tell the truth to law enforcement or Congress?
The president surrounded himself with some people that maybe he shouldn't, I don't know. But when he was running his campaign, Mr. Manafort was there, was part of the campaign. Mr. Manafort had been involved with Republican politics before. Why he selected him, I don't know. What I'm most concerned about is what took place at the highest levels of our committee is supposed to be the Government Oversight Committee. We're supposed to...
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Okay, folks, Chuck Todd there. You're not answering the question. I actually didn't ask you to bring facts and figures or information. I wanted you to just directly answer the questions like I could get Adam Schiff to do and the rest of them. Here's what bothers me the most, Jim Jordan said. You know what bothers me the most? Let me tell you what bothers me the most. The top 5 in one organization, either fired, demoted, boom, out. Top 5. Why does the president surround himself with people that can't tell the truth? What the hell? Chuck, you do it all day long. Every time you put a panel up, you surround yourself with people that can't tell the truth. Why did he hire Manafort to work for free? Jordan said Cohen 6 new lies just the other day. So I thought that was a great interview. I just don't see where they're letting Jim Jordan's interview. They don't want to discuss that. They don't want to talk about that. But as Jordan was rolling out the successes in the Trump administration, they know that last card that they have to play is to try to push us into a recession. Watch and see. Okay, let me go with this because I want to wrap up here. I had I tell you what, I just want to say, I had a picture here from yesterday that I didn't send you. I don't think I sent it to you, but they're going to go after the president's, and let me see if I have it here. Just bear with me. And the areas they're going to go after, because I did take a shot of it yesterday. And I thought I sent that over. I didn't send it to you, Josh. I know for a fact I didn't send it to you. Okay. On ABC yesterday, on ABC with George Stephanopoulos, here's the areas they're going to be looking into on the President of the United States. His campaign finance, campaign. They're going to look at his campaign. They keep bringing up these checks, okay? These checks are not written out of the campaign checkbook. They're personal checks from Donald Trump to Cohen. When I mean that, from the Trump organization. They're going to be looking into the White House. Did he violate laws by giving those checks? The Trump Foundation and the Trump business. It's an anal exam, Donald. Campaign, White House, Trump Foundation, Trump business. And let me say this. Remember this. This is a takeaway. I got to take a break because I do want to do, there's some things you want to stay in touch. Stay with us that we're going to touch on some stories when we come back. But we just have to switch gears. Remember, before you impeach somebody, you have to persuade the American public that it ought to happen. And that is what they're working on, and they're working very hard to do that. They've got their persuasion team in place with the deep state media. I just don't want you to catch on number 24, Tom Steyer, okay? Remember his name came up with Cohen. Anytime you hear the Democrats are divided and the Democrats are not ready to impeach and they're kind of staying away from it, it's a lie. They're united. They're ready to go. They're trying to impeach your president of the United States. And if they don't get him impeached, they want to have everything in place for a second term. Okay? But right now, their obstruction is our country. And they plan to do anything to bring this guy down for 2020. So when he gets on a debate stage with any Democrat, all the moderators from the left will ask him, even Fox, they will ask him questions, okay, concerning these investigations. And Democrats will get a pass. Watch and see. I'm your host, BKP. Take us to break. We're going to talk a little bit about Georgia and I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. We're going to talk a little bit about Georgia. You don't want to miss right after these messages. Take us a break, Josh.